Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over some of the Muslim perspectives on poverty. Let's start with the keywords. Less economically developed countries. We know what that means now. A country that is essentially poor, where it's hard to get by, where the basic living is very difficult. More economically developed countries, politically correct way of saying a rich country where it's easy for people to get by. I know I'm going to eat tomorrow, I know I'm going to eat next week. It's relatively easy for me to do that because I live in the UK. I'm lucky. I've had access to education and healthcare and all these things that have empowered me very much. So I'm very lucky to have that. I'm in a more economically developed country. World poverty, as stated before, that idea that most of the world is in poverty. So that's a very important key concept there. If most of the world is in poverty, we better do something about it. Justice. Yeah, we spoke about this before, creating a fair and equal society, working out to bring about what is right and fair to people in need. It's just, we need to help the poor because it's only fair to do so. Ummah, okay, that idea of a global idea that all Muslims must help each other. So all Muslims are part of a worldwide brotherhood. We all go on the Hajj together. We all pray together. These are all ideas of Ummah. And we all pay zakat. We all pay a small part of our money, 2.5% of our earnings at least, to make sure that other people are supported through from our own income. That idea that we have a responsibility to each other. Charity, as stated before, the voluntary giving help of when needed, an organisation established to help those in need. So Muslim Aid, Christian Aid, Islamic Relief. Battersea Dogs Home would be an example of a charity because they're looking out for animals in need. So any time when someone is voluntarily looking out for people in need is an example of charity. Zakat, as mentioned, okay, so that's one of the pillars of Islam, and therefore that is saying that we all as Muslims have a duty to look out and pay a small amount of our money, 2.5% of our money at least, for the more poor within our Muslim society, within our brotherhood, or potentially that Ummah can now extend beyond that and beyond our religious ties, and that can be money that can be given to anyone. There's also a big emphasis on the idea of sakada, which is SADAQA, which is sadaqah, is that idea that if I have this money, if I've got 2.5% and I can give that away, I can always give up more. I can always do sadaqah. I can always do more than zakat and actually fulfill my duty as a Muslim to help other people. And obviously we've got those concepts of emergency aid and long-term aid. In those serious times when people are in need, emergency aid is needed. A lot of money to save lots of lives in a short space of time. But ultimately the main goal is that long-term aid. Consistent amounts of money or a sufficient amount of money to allow a person to support themselves. Education is an example of a very important long-term aid that is prevalent across all countries. Emergency health service would be an example of a short-term aid that might be needed, such as ambulances and such things as that.